Hello everyone, this is Srijita Ihsan, Project Coordinator, School of Entrepreneurship Development. Prepare to be captivated by our extraordinary guest joining us today, Q, Sustainability and Procured in Global Corporate. Hi Q.
Hi. You can call me Vicky if that makes things easier.
Okay, Vicky, how are you?
Very good. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
You're welcome. Well, I'm very interested to have a chit chat with you. Would you kindly provide me a little brief introduction about yourself?
Yep, absolutely. First of all, I think it's great that you guys organized this connection and this channel for college students to get to know what they're preparing for in the future, right? A little bit about myself. My name is Qiyu, but everybody can call me Vicky. Make everybody's life easier. I'm right now based in Bangkok, Thailand, originally from China, and currently based in Thailand, working for IKEA, the brand, as a procurement and sustainability capacity. And very nice to hear and hopefully see everybody. And if you have any questions or curiosities, feel free to let me know.
Sure. Okay. So, Vicky, your career journey has taken you across sustainability, manufacturing, compliance, and procurement, and now even investing. So, looking back, what experiences during your university first year sparked your global mindset?
Um, this is a very great question and also very big, right? Maybe let me just wind back about a little bit about myself. So I went to college, undergraduate in China, and I went to have my master's in the United States. So that cultural and cross-border experience was very important, I would say, in my life as to my journey now. And in the years when I was in undergrad, I was studying English and Japanese as language. I would I would never have imagined that how much a language, learning a foreign language, can expand my world. Because while you're learning a language, you were exposed to a very different cultural, that I sort of have to learn a lot about, the what is the cultural background from the English speaking countries, and as well as the cultural background of a Japanese Japan, right? So first, that this learning foreign language experience exposed me to have this outward looking mindset for sure. And then the second is that in my graduate school, my major is actually public policy and public administration. So I studied a lot of how governments and how policy works. And this kind of understanding of a system beyond any specific countries or beyond any specific region helps to have this global mindset, that to zoom out from any specific system, but looking system at it itself and how it will impact the rest of the world. And I think these two personal experience combined together definitely helps me to be more outward looking and be more curiosity about the world and be able to see things from the bigger picture. And if you are happening to study another language other than your own, or you're studying some kind of system, be it a policy, be it a manufacturing system, be it a software system, having that systematic thinking will help you a lot, I believe. I hope this answers your question.
Yeah, it was a very insightful answer, Vicky. Well, during your student life, were there any internships, campus jobs, volunteer work, or extracurricular activities that unexpectedly became valuable later in your career?
Um, I definitely think that my campus job, while I was studying abroad in United States, helped me a lot. So I have spent about a year working as the front desk on campus in our international student office. Basically, my day-to-day job is greet whoever is coming, mostly are international students, and then guide, log their questions, and then guide them to the specific advisor's office. So very simple process. I think nowadays this kind of process were probably replaced by an online booking or a login system, right? But at around that year, because I was the first one whenever international students came, and they always came with a question, and they always came with some kind of urgency. Sometimes it's about visa, sometimes it's about scholarship, sometimes it's about employment, etc. So that kind of frontline experience helps me to be able to learn first how to really understand the other person, because I wasn't used to all kinds of English accents. And that experience teach me to be patient and really understand the other person. And second is to know essentially what's the issue. Because sometimes when the students coming in, they said it's a visa issue, but what after you ask them a few questions, it turns out it could just be a paperwork issue, right? So under, and having that clarity really helps me to guide that specific students to the right advisor and to the right person to solve the issue, because otherwise it may take a longer time. So the first one is be able to understand the other person, and the second one is to have clarities and ask questions on the solution, what they're looking for. So I think this front desk experience really enlightened me on those two perspectives, which becomes really valuable later on in my job, because that it helps me to not take any given message for granted. I always ask a few more questions just to make sure I understand what is the real demands or what are the real needs are. And also second, to be able to stand in the understanding of the other person, since that I see everything as a solution and I see everything as a service, whether within or with internal external stakeholders. I hope this answers and gives some inspirations.
Yeah, well, it was very diverse and very inspiring. So, you began your career through internships and assistant roles before moving into leadership positions at global organizations like IKEA. What did those early experiences teach you about professionalism, growth, and humanity?
Yeah, absolutely. I think everyone sitting here, I would assume that you're about to look for a job or to start something in terms of career, right? Career sounds like a very big word, but if you narrow it down, it really is everything else in that you're doing every day or this year. Um, Early in my years, that I actually started my job as a more business oriented role, that I am a client service man, that I'm working in the client service capacity in a third party consulting company. So that role was again very frontline, talking daily with the customers, understanding their requirements and translate the requirements into what is the consulting company is able to offer, basically. And I think that experience of having the first-hand market experience, that I was able to hear what the customer really care about, what is the customer really worried about, what is the customer's pain point. That really helps me to be able to translate their needs into the service that we offer, and also be able to discern that what we cannot do for them. Have so with that, is it is really important regardless where you are, because whether you're working in a non-customer front position, let's say for example my current one, procurement, I'm dealing with a lot of business functions, be able to really understand their pain points, what they're worried about, with their vendors currently. And these skills, I took the credits from my early experience of dealing with clients. And also, another important thing is to be willing to learn and unlearn. I think we would more or less have this feeling in the sense that whatever you're learning now, down in the 2 or 3 years, the technology or the organization might not need them anymore. So does that mean that you're not valuable anymore? No. That just means that along the way we are going to learn something new, and we have to unlearn those things that we knew before, right? Give a good example. Following my customer facing job, the terminology of sustainability, of compliance, sustainability compliance came up in the market. I sort of decided that I want to take that leap and learn what it is and how it can help, and giving back to the market. And I think that journey of giving up a customer front position, which is very dynamic. You got these questions, you got no problem to solve every single day, very exciting, to a journey that I have to sit down, learn, even go to classrooms to learn a new topic of sustainability, pass some kind of examinations, and the process, it just seems longer. But that journey really prepares me to be able to know and having the confidence that yes, I can learn something new, and and whatever comes out in the market, I can learn it and I can catch it. So that confidence built in this learn and unlearn journey is incredible. It's not specific about the things you learn, but that confidence built in the process. Yeah, I hope this gives you some insights.
Yeah, that was amazing and very informative. Well, many students hear terms like ESG, sustainability, and responsible sourcing, but may not fully understand these. How would you like to explain the importance of sustainability in business to young people entering today's workforce?
If I think this is another great question. So forget about the terminology of ESG, sustainability, or responsible sourcing, right? Forget about those terminology. Um, but what does this terminology really ask in your day-to-day work? It could be, giving one example, how do I reduce my food waste today so I can reduce my waste in profit? Give you another example. How can I reduce the utilization of my electricity bill every day so I can see a smaller number on my electricity bill in the office? Give you another example. How can I find a more endurable and also environmental friendly materials for my chairs so I can produce it for a, I can produce for customers who would like to buy a chair like this, right? So if you translate those words, sustainability, ESG, responsible sourcing, essentially it is the day-to-day business decisions. And if I bring it back, this systematic thinking, systematic view, let's zoom out. We may got confused between sustainability, circularity, responsible sourcing, ESG. There, a lot of these things are more or less overlapping, but essentially it's about how is the business running and how is the business impacting everyone related to it. And technically, I would say sustainability is a more general and broader terminology, and responsible sourcing is specifically about product, and ESG is more about the reporting for public listed companies. But again, there are some similarities. There are some differences. But essentially, there are a lot of things about risk management, because nowadays a lot of requirements, legal requirements, especially in Europe, has become a legal requirements. And if you're not met those requirements, then you have a risk that you're running. And also about competitiveness. If you go to any of your favorite fashion brand, you can always see that saying that we're using a more environmental friendly materials. We have this recycled about this amount of percentage. This cup we use have post recycled materials, etc. So when you're seeing this message, you're more likely to buy those products. So it's a balance of risk management and competitiveness in the commercial world. And if you don't have to be a major in sustainability to be able to feel the importance of sustainability. You can be an accountant, then you'll be probably involved in projects of ESG reporting. You could be a finance controller that you can have a say on the budget set for, let's say, purchasing raw material that are more recyclable, right? You could be a procurement that you can set the responsible sourcing standards, and you can be let's say you can be a software engineer. You can help to build the company's sustainability data collection, ERP, etc. So you don't have to be a sustainability major to do sustainability things, and every function could contribute to the business sustainability journey.
Yeah, it
Mm.
your answer absolutely, like, completely answers my question and query. That's right. So, students often focus heavily on technical skills, but in your experience, what soft skills truly separate good professionals from exceptional professionals?
I would say like I can only comment that people that I saw before or I have interacted before that I think are exceptional. And one characteristic that I often see on these people is curiosity over judgment. Exceptional professions in the workplace, they often try to understand before giving comments or before reacting or before placing a judgment. And I think that's crucial in terms of making critical decisions, is crucial in terms of having this invisible influence over other people. And it is crucial to build the invisible attraction around you. um, I think we more or less have someone in our life that person that just asks brilliant question. I just love to talk with that person. That's the feeling you will feel from exceptional professions. I can give you an example. If you are going to work in a company, regardless 10 people or 1,000 people, there's always different layers of reporting that you are going to that you're going to face, or different decisions that you're going to face. For some people, they probably if they're not curious enough, they may just make the decision based on what they see in their own position. But for exceptional professions, they will always ask questions. Can you tell me more? Why would you think this will help the company? Can you tell me a little bit more? What makes you make this decision? Can you tell me more? Why do you think at this moment responsible sourcing is good for the company? Before saying that I agree or I disagree. Yeah. I think that kind of curiosity really makes people comfortable of discussing challenging topics, and that will help not only with the task itself, but also with the people development as well. And then the second one is, I would say, is the competence of being flexibility, not in terms of physical flexibility, but the flexibility of understanding the context that what works in one place may not work in another place, and be okay with that. I have worked in the US, I've worked in China, now I'm working in Thailand. And the kind of company culture I've been through are American cultural. I've also worked in French company before, so French cultural, and now a Swedish cultural company, and now blend with Chinese culture and Thai cultural. Um, I think to me this is great because I was exposed to so many cultures. Um, so I believe I am flexible enough, but also um, understanding that what works for my American coworkers is not necessarily going to work with my Thai coworkers. Yeah, and because everybody comes from their own context. Um, what works in a Swedish company does not necessarily work in a Chinese company or with Chinese coworkers. So there is always this balance that we need to fine tune. And that doesn't mean it's failing. That's just mean that we're okay to adjust and being flexible. And if you see a leader that are both curious and that are both flexible, make sure you cherish that leader because it is very rare and it's very uncommon to have a leader in your workplace in the future, to have those. And if you see someone like that, ask them to be your mentor, and I think you'll benefit a lot from those kind of coworkers. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree because I think being flexible enables you to open a lot of doors. Yeah, okay, so you're also involved in angel investing, which means evaluating ideas and people. When you meet young professionals or founders, what qualities immediately stand out to you?
Absolutely. I was I was still new to angel investment, but when I am looking at a startup or founders, I'm always I would not say that I'm looking for any specific qualities, but there are some qualities that will stand out to me and attracts me. And the first one is clarity when they're talking or thinking, um, because when I was watching or when I was listening to pitches of startups, one of the common thing that I would encounter is that I do not understand after 5 minutes of talking by the founders what the startups are selling. Yeah. And when there's one founder can make it super clear what their company or what their startup are selling, that clarity will stand out. Um, I think this means that the capability to explain a very complex idea in the founder's mind in plain language to an outsider. And this makes investors much more likely to understand and then be willing to invest. And then the second one is, I would say, coachability. Um, I think this is quite similar to flexibility. It's more like they're open to feedback, they're not defensive, they they're they're open to either accept or not accept the feedback, but with a very open-minded. I think this coachability is very valuable among founders because I've actually been mentoring and coaching a few founders last year, and I think for founders who really nurtured an idea into a business model, receiving negative feedback is sometimes hard to accept and to adapt, right? Um, but once that defensiveness is coming up, that is sort of blocking the founder themselves to moving forward. So I really like founders that ask for feedback and take the feedback and reflect. I won't say act on it, but reflect. And maybe the feedback will transform into something in a different form, which is absolutely okay. But that action of asking for feedback and open for feedback is incredible valuable for founders. And then the third quality I would say is resilience. Resilience means that they tested one business model or one product line or one service line. It didn't work, but but they didn't. they were not defeated. They were able to pivot within the same idea, within the same mission vision, but into a different business model or into a different form. And I've seen startup founders who were able to do this. They were able to persist and they were able to thrive. But for business startups who were unable to sort of have that resilience in face of challenges, they can soon be exited very soon. So I think that resilience and that capability to be able to pivot was very important. And then the last one, what attracts me, the last one and also quite important, is the authentic motivation. Because a lot of a lot of startup pitch, they will start with their value proposition. Usually a lot of founders will focus on what is the problem we're solving, what is the solution we're providing. But sometimes it can be quite it could be quite distant when there's no authentic motivation. Why this specific problem? Why I want to solve this specific problem? Why I care about this specific problem, right? I think that element was something that really attracts people if it's authentic, of course. So whatever solution will not be looked as a chasing trends, because you can have AI all over your pitch deck, but without that authentic motivation, things just looks like on the book, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And your that point of resilience reminds me of the story of King Bruce Lee. Have you read about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, finally, if you could give one important piece of advice to university students about building a meaningful and globally relevant career, what would you want them to remember the most?
I would say, since we're talking about university students, I would say don't chase the titles, but build the capability and the credibility. Yeah, regardless what you're doing, where you are. I think early in the career, title is really less important, because there could be companies has no titles. There could be companies has no hierarchies, right? Even though my organization today give me the title of procurement manager, it could be changed tomorrow, right? But what really matters to every single person sitting here is the confidence that you have that I am able to do XYZ, and I have the confidence and I have the credibility to do XYZ. Yeah, and those are the things that you will hold on to your whole career, and you will continue building on it. So I would say that's something that I would like to invite everybody to remember, and to be able to build that capacity, that competence, and also that credibility. Learn fast, which I believe every university students are capable to do when you're in university. But learn fast even when you're in your job, in your career. Um, it could be a very different form of learning, but be ready to always learn something, and then take the ownership of whatever you're doing, even if you're just like doing some Excel sheet organization. um, but take that ownership that I'm going to make the best Excel sheets of my company. Having that attitude will will give you that confidence and credibility. I hope this really helps. Yeah, I think you're muted, Srijata.
Sorry. Okay. I think, well, your advice is absolutely timeless because what you said is very relevant to the contemporary time, like the dilemma of the students and like the difficulties they face. Thank you so much, Vicky, for all
No
the
problem.
advices and suggestions. These are gonna like these are gonna be an amazing tool for the students to thrive in the contemporary world and the corporate world as well.
Absolutely. Let me know if you have any additional questions or from the comments, etc. And I'm more than happy to answer.
Sure, sure. Well, that's all for today. It was absolutely great to have you on board today. We're hoping to have you again on the platform of a CD. Vicky?
Thank you very much. And I hope all the best to whoever is looking at this. And thanks. And I'm also very happy if any of you have any specific questions, more than happy to connect and support.
You're welcome, Vicky. Hoping to see you on Thailand.
Yep, absolutely. I'm in Thailand. Thank you.